Welcome to episode 6. We're still doing it.
It's still happening.
We haven't shut it down.
No, this is a tremendous success.
This is going to be the first episode where we have Q&A from the comments.
And a producer.
Oh, yeah.
We got Angel over here.
Hi, nice to meet you, everybody.
Hopefully they get to know you very well.
So, yeah, we got some Q&A. Angel's looked through the comments with Ivan, and they've picked some stuff, so that'll be fun.
Very cool. The only thing that I got, so I told you, I went digital minimalist. I deleted all my stuff. I have no idea what's happening on the internet.
This is huge. Do you ever look at your phone now?
Still habitually.
You already weren't responding to people's texts.
No, I wasn't responding to text. I deleted everything. So Instagram, YouTube is gone. I don't go on YouTube anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's not good for business.
Have you blocked Reddit, or can you still get to Reddit?
I got rid of... No, Reddit I can get to.
Do you want me to teach you how to block Reddit?
I think I can. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go to the settings and then screen time, where it like records your time.
Yeah.
And then you can turn on adult censorship and add websites to block. So
nice.
You can make it so that you are never using your phone. For anything.
That's the one. So I sometimes do Reddit on my phone when I'm taking a poop. That's
Not anymore. Now you just focus on your work.
Nice. Yeah. So that's happened, and I have no idea what's happening out there. If a link gets sent to me by a friend, which is what happened 5 minutes ago, there's Keanu Reeves video from PewDiePie, which, spoiler alert, if you're watching this today, we also released a video on Keanu Reeves that is coming out at the same moment as this.
Right now.
Yeah, so I've been working on that. He's an interesting dude. I don't want to fall into the trap of I never want to fall into the trap of glorifying or hating anyone that I do. It's so easy because you see a couple images, but he seems like a nice guy.
Are you saying it's unhealthy that I love Chris Hemsworth because I made a video about him?
Because I did a few moments where he was very publicly a kind guy. No, Keanu's got cool stuff that it would be tough to snap photos of people doing. The classic like kicking it with a homeless guy. And I don't know too many people that have ever just pulled up and laid down on the street to have a conversation with a homeless person.
Yeah,
it happens.
Scott Britton. He used to give them food and hugs.
Yep, and hang out, which is it's a scary thing to do. And the point that I make in the video, which I think is most impressive, is I felt this as I've become a bigger person. He has so many people who, if he pauses in the street, would love to just suck up his time, energy. You know what I mean? Would just love to be there. And I don't know how, seems to be very available when he's out in public. Like, if he's there and you're asking for a photo, the videos I've seen, people just pile on. He's like, okay. And he's just stuck there for however long the pile on seems to take. And I'm sure at some point he extracts himself. But it's interesting how available he makes himself to a world that would love for him to never have a free second in his life if everyone got a photo. So it's interesting how generous he is, and I try to figure out in the video why he is able to do that. And I think a huge piece of it is that he doesn't have social media, he doesn't go to parties, he doesn't involve himself with people that are not apparently physically in front of him, leaving all this time and energy for even strangers who are just in front of him.
Yeah.
Which seems like a good way to live.
I was going to say, is that inspiring you to do the same?
It's certainly been along the thrust of the book that I read and all that kind. So I'm working on it. You
read the book's called Digital
Minimalism, which is essentially delete your apps. They're killing you.
Yeah.
they're ruining your life, and they're not real.
Is there any new information besides what we've heard? So my impression,
the suicide rate was interesting to me.
Okay, what is that?
The suicide rate for teens has gone up. Now, granted, teens are the lowest. It actually increases as you get older. But it's gone from roughly, I think it was 10 in 1,000 in 2010 to now like 15 or 16 in 1,000, which is a 50 to 60% rise in suicide rates nationwide. And this inflection point in like 2012, 2013, where smartphones start to become ubiquitous in young people's lives.
So I think everybody's on the impression like, yes, I get it. Social media is kind of bad. How long ago did you do this?
I've been on this. I've made a video about how Instagram is ruining your life. I've been choking it back.
But when did the full delete happen?
4 days ago, 3 days ago.
Any noticeable differences so far? Like, do you pull up your phone and realize it's useless and put it back in your pocket?
You know what? Sort of. I actually use the Kindle app a lot more, and I use Reddit, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, you got to. We got to block Reddit.
Benji made this point. You will plug the hole with something, and it will probably be junk food if you're not conscious about what you pick. So yeah,
sure. You're taking it. It's like you're trying to stop smoking, so you start vaping.
Yeah,
and then you get popcorn lung.
So it's been good. I also had the big thing that I've noticed is that sometimes you get these negative pangs from social media. You're missing a party. There's someone that you used to date that's on there. There's all these different things. And I don't get those, which is nice. And you don't notice the lack of them in your life. But the other thing is when you're taking a walk or you're out somewhere, you are a little bit more present because you've trained yourself to not be reaching in your pocket and checking. And I was more conscious of the wind on my face, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
I noticed that there were flowers in the trees that were above my eye line. Normally I'm at my eye line or my feet or my phone, and there are these red, very pretty flowers in the trees. I hadn't seen them. They're not called flowers if they're in trees, I don't think.
Whatever. Are you going to do, I think you should do a video 30 days after.
Sure.
I think that'd be very interesting.
I'll have to cut Reddit.
You're on day 4.
Yeah.
You got to cut Reddit. I will show you how. We'll do it after.
All right, well, this podcast
you want to give me
is
going to
be
do it
rough,
right now?
man. Yeah.
I'll do it right now. We'll do it live.
Somebody's got to be on Reddit for this podcast. We're going to do it live. You take care of it. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Keanu seems to be off of all of this stuff, has never been on social media, has been disconnected, and that's been an inspiration because at 54 years old, he, looks really good, which is, I think, a sign perhaps of plastic surgery, who knows, but also of healthy living. And
I actually saw him get asked, and he didn't say he'd done anything.
I don't think he has. He doesn't seem the type to care. Now, that's great genetics. Let's not kid
ourselves.
That's
what he said. They were like, what's your secret? He says, my ancestors.
Yeah. I watched that clip. It's certainly good genetics, but I think if he'd lived a debaucherous lifestyle and was highly stressed, that wouldn't have been allowed. So, yeah, I've been increasingly disenchanted with the value of Instagram, Facebook. I still think YouTube is good when used responsibly.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, YouTube, I learned so much from YouTube. I mean, so this is the reason in the podcast why I never know who these people are when you bring up current events. My YouTube is all dog training, surf training. It used to be jiu-jitsu training, and that's an incredible tool for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll sometimes be watching videos about surfing and just be like, "Oh my god, I've been doing this wrong for 2 years straight," and then I'll go do it in the water, and I'm immediately better. Yeah. So I think YouTube can be an amazing tool. Yeah. But my YouTube doesn't feed me political stuff. It doesn't feed me, like pop culture stuff. So
then there's this belief, this is the hardest thing that the book talks about that I had to deal with, which is you get some value out of all social media. Yeah. You are connected with friends that you will lose touch with on Facebook. Sure. Instagram introduces you to noteworthy topics which you can bring up at the dinner table. YouTube has tons of benefits which you just described.
Well, Tim Ferriss got on this early. Tim Ferriss in his book 4 Hour Workweek says, don't watch the news. And since then, I stopped watching the news. And some people think that's insane. Yep. But it's like, as long as you are a social person, a lot of the important stuff will find its way to you anyway. And I know a lot of people, dude, I have some family members who watch the news every day for hours a day. Mm-hmm. They do nothing. It doesn't change how they donate. They're not out there picketing or lobbying. They're not making any policy changes. They're just getting angry for 3 hours a day, literally every day. And then that's it.
Nothing.
And it's like, that's not a good use of time.
Conversely, the glut of it makes you less likely to do something. The people who watch the 24-hour news feeds are the least likely to go protest. You can only watch a certain amount of time to have time left over for protesting. But the other thing is the economic argument that is not recognized, which is, yes, you get this value. You're connected with these weak links on Facebook. How much of your life do you have to dedicate in order to maintain that? And this is the same argument that I have with people about college when they go, well, you got value out of your education. I go, yes. Was it worth 4 years and 10 years of debt paid at the highest rate that I could possibly afford? And the answer is a clear no. So it's not, do these things bring value to my life? It's, do they justify the cost in time, energy, and life to do that? And when you actually measure it, it's insane. The amount of energy you would spend to keep a weak tie on Facebook or to get a funny video on Instagram. It's in my estimation not worth it. So I don't want to rail against social media for too long here because I know that a lot of people do it. But I'm pretty happy that we are not a big force on Facebook or Instagram. I'm totally cool with that. I don't necessarily want to contribute to that world. Maybe there's an argument for us being something that is in there and takes people out, but at the same time, it's, you know what? I'm not into that. That type of content.
I'm curious. So I think a lot of the advice about deleting social media is kind of rote at this point. Mm-hmm. So I'd be really curious for you to make a video in 30 days after where you had actual firsthand experience. Because I think people get it. Like, yeah, all right, it makes me sad, but it makes me happy. Yeah. It's a great way to kill time. I like looking at funny memes. Like, I know the counter arguments. Mm-hmm. So I'd be really curious to hear what your actual experience is.
Yeah, and what was lost.
What's gained besides, okay, some people are committing suicide because it sucks to be cyberbullied or because you're really jealous of people, but most people aren't. Yeah. So if I'm watching this conversation right now, if I'm listening to you, it's like, okay, I have no concern that I'm going to kill myself.
Well,
so
it's weird. It becomes,
why should I bother to delete social media?
I will tell you what I've seen is it becomes part of your background anxiety. And you don't realize that you have background anxiety until it's removed. And you go, oh my gosh, I was stressed about these sorts of things often. And we would talk about what was going on in the news, and you would see it would upset me. There's
well, you get more triggered than I do.
I get triggered, man. and
you get fired up.
Yeah. And it realistically, there's people whose jobs are to put ads against this content, so it needs to be as incendiary as possible to keep me watching, and it doesn't need to accurately reflect the impact that it's likely to have on my life.
Yeah.
If it were their job to educate me, it would be a completely different story, but it's not. It's their job to get me to watch.
Sure.
So there's all of that, and yeah, I'm happy to be off. I have not struggled with it really at all. Nice. There's a couple of phantom things, but I still have Reddit. So.
Well, we're gonna figure. I couldn't figure it out.
We'll get it.
I'll do it after the show.